Hello and good afternoon, you're welcome. This is Ntv at One. My name is Malcolm Sima. Let's go straight to the headlines. Collecting signatures, MPs start drive to show support for the nullified anti-homosexuality bill.
For sure we know, in the
Rwenzori unrest. Rwenzori Chief Prince Christopher Chibanzanga calls for an independent commission to investigate the underlying cause of the July attacks. And the World Bank says it will provide up to $200 million in emergency assistance to help West Africa contain the deadly Ebola outbreak. At One, my name is Malcolm Sima. Members of Parliament have started collecting signatures to have the controversial anti-homosexuality bill reintroduced in Parliament. This days after the Constitutional Court declared it null and void as it was passed without quorum. They also want a vote on the bill when it is salvaged to be done by roll call and show of hands.
Mulukwe ffe tugezaho okulaba nti ensonga eno tugitambuza mu ngeri esinga okubennyo n'olwekyo bakyali mu komiti tunene okulaga abantu nti bannaye bannayuganda tebatugulanga tetubamutya olwekyo ebyo byonna bye tugenda okukola kitwagaliza okukola kwe kwongera okulaba.
MPs collecting signatures, and the Chief Prince of Rwenzori Kingdom, Christopher Chibanzanga, has called for an immediate action against its officials who were cited in July's clashes in the Rwenzori sub-region. Chibanzanga wonders why, to date, some of the officials who have been arrested in connection with the attacks are still serving as officials in the kingdom, and is the first kingdom official to openly call for action against their own.
Speaking at a conference organized by the Kingdom and local leaders in Fort Portal town, Christopher Chibanzanga spoke about officials implicated in July's tribal clashes.
As I talk, all of those who confessed for having planned this deadly act are still serving ministers above Singapore, on which side of our history is my father's kingdom.
He advises that if those cited in participating in the planning and execution of the attacks continue to serve the kingdom, it could lose its vision.
We are planting seeds for genocide.
A visibly ruffled Chibanzanga, who is a brother of Omusinga Wesley Mumbere, wants the kingdom to provide a clear explanation on what happened and action to be taken against the perpetrators.
I propose that Omusinga Rwenzori comes out with a clear stand on the recent attacks in the region, so that Rwenzori will be guided.
In the same spirit, he calls for a review of the operations of cultural institutions if such clashes are to be avoided. However, with the increasing levels of unemployment among the youths in the Rwenzori sub-region, this could be the opportunity for wrongdoers to steer them off course.
The rate of unemployment in the region is too high.
Chibanzanga is the first official from the Rwenzori Kingdom to openly speak on the way in which the kingdom has handled the clashes, which left about 100 people dead in the districts of Kasese, Bundibujo and Ntoroko.
Police chiefs from Uganda and Rwanda have agreed to heighten efforts to combat cross-border crimes, and they met in Kabale district to discuss governance and cross-border security issues.
Drug trafficking, human trafficking, insurgency and terrorism are some of the main cross-border crimes that were highlighted as a threat to the security of both Uganda and Rwanda.
This is not work that you take lightly. We are satisfied that we are moving very well and working together. Our relationship is deepening.
The key areas that we see is security over common borders, and also security of the northern corridor, even going beyond to even Mombasa port.
General Kale Kaihura noted that there is a need to enhance development in border communities as well as the importance of trainings and joint operations.
Sharing experiences with each other, to improve best practices so that we can be able to serve better in both countries.
We are here to pursue collective security, to set up a collaborative arrangement, a cooperation framework, a mechanism for timely sharing of information affecting security.
The meeting was attended by senior police and military officers from both countries. It was also agreed that both Uganda and Rwanda police forces design a sensitization manual that will facilitate local leaders to understand cross-border crimes and be able to combat them.
Action Aid says that the involvement of local communities to fight against corruption is the only way to fight corruption in Uganda. Today, Action Aid Uganda, in partnership with 6 national and 15 civil society organizations, have launched the second leg of the anti-corruption caravan campaign to cover northeast and eastern Uganda. The caravan will be officially launched in Kotido on the 7th of August and ends up in Uganda on the 14th of this month.
Working under the theme, Stop the Silence, Shame the Corrupt, Fame the Good Leaders, Action Aid will visit 15 districts which include Kapchorwa, Mbale and Palisa to mobilize and awaken citizens to stand up against corruption in the country.
By raising public understanding about dangers of corruption to service delivery and welfare of the citizens.
And to make people contextualize and give the local language meaning of corruption. What does it mean to be corrupt? And in most places they looked at that as stealing public resources.
Through the caravan and other anti-corruption efforts, they are expecting to mobilize communities to name and shame the thieves of public opportunities and resources.
They also got to understand that corruption is not about the person you have given money, but even you that gives the money is part of the game. And therefore, we should blame the person giving as well as the person receiving, because you're both in the corruption tendency.
They have asked Ugandans to speak out on all forms of corruption in households, communities and public offices to all join the anti-corruption caravan.
The team from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has appeared before a parliamentary committee to present its policy statement for 2014 and 2015. The Minister for Foreign Affairs, Sam Kutesa, has pointed out that the inadequate resources in the ministry, especially for foreign missions abroad, and how properties are being managed, and the fact that the staff cannot be paid. He also spoke about the resources needed to market Uganda abroad.
And therefore, when we make budgetary proposals, even in line with the recommendations you make, the answer has been, let's finish these priorities. Let's deal with these ones. There is not enough money. We know these are important, but there's not enough money to cover the priorities we have set ourselves as a country and also to finance the activities you are talking about. So, in most of these issues that you are raising, the issue has been resources. It has not been failure on the part of the officials. It has not been any lack of commitment on your part to make the recommendations. Recommendations have been made. Work programs have been put in place. Budget submissions have been made. But our ceilings remain the same.
Ntv, we're now going to hear these short messages. We'll come back with more stories this afternoon.
Use White Star Laundry Bar Soap with a lemon fragrance and you'll have a fresh, clean day. Be like a star. Use White Star.
Don't disturb Daddy. My daddy is a star.
White Star Laundry Bar Soap. All day fresh clean.
luscious freshness, indulge your senses, tame the thirst. It's best and good, completely tangerine. Rehab fun time, strictly all the way.
Reham Fun Time. Fun all the time.
We all have those beautiful, unforgettable moments that are the highlights of our lives. With life's uncertainties, all these beautiful memories could become painful reminders of what was and what could have been. Fortunately for us, we have made one smart choice. We chose to secure what we hold dear. We chose to insure with the insurance company of East Africa, ICEA, standing by you.
On the next episode, brought to you by...
At Orange, we know you want to do more on the internet. That's why we bring you happy hour day and night.
La Patrona.
I'm your final judgment, Antonia Guerra. I am your death.
Gabriela Suarez.
I want dialysis, and you're gonna help me.
What do you have to tell me? Oh no, is it more bad news? You wanted to see me dead, right?
Oh no, help! Somebody help me, please!
You see? It's Veronica. I told you not to leave it alone.
You took my men away from me, you wretch. But this is not over. You will pay for this, Gabriela Suarez.
La Patrona.
You can download movies at the lowest prices another fast from Orange. Dial *133#.
Welcome back. This is NTV at One. 6 years is the time it has taken the President of the United States to organize a summit bringing to Washington the whole of Africa. They are discussing a number of issues, including business and governance, and for the next 3 days, bilateral and multilateral talks will dominate headlines. Ken Mijungu is in Washington, D.C., attending the summit and reports that the event has attracted a lot of attention, both wanted and unwanted.
A day of demonstrations right here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., threatening the whole summit agenda in the first ever inaugural U.S.-Africa summit. Now, earlier on in the day, we saw several groups here demonstrating against their leaders and urging President Barack Obama not to have a sit down with this president who they perceive as not being pro-democracy. But all in all, the stage is set and several heads of states are already here. Our own President Uhuru Kenyatta will be coming in the next 2 hours or so. We have seen quite a number of sideline events, including that of the civil society. And of course, there are several issues, including that of supporting the civil society organization and urging the government to recognize and indeed give them their space in the country. The business community is also here, but President Barack Obama will not be speaking until the final day. But DC is ready for the African leaders, about 40 of them. The rest of the leaders who are not coming have not been invited for one reason or the other. But the stage is set and indeed everyone is ready. This event is going on to the final day, which will culminate into the White House dinner where the president and the heads of state will be expected to attend, but they will not be meeting the president in person. There will be no bilateral between the president of the United States and any of the African heads of state. Instead, it will be a meeting that will include all of them. That will be the end of this summit after 6 years of President Barack Obama's presidency in the United States. This will be the very first time he is inviting all the African leaders. Ken Mijungu reporting for NTV from the Department of State, Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Kelmi Jungu. President Barack Obama last visited Africa last summer, and now we see African leaders heading to the U.S., where the United States of America is looking to reinforce its diplomatic and economic ties with the African continent. Let's move on. The World Bank has pledged $200 million to help contain the deadly Ebola virus, with the growing crisis forcing healthcare systems in Liberia to shut down out of fear of staff contracting the virus. And a 72-hour humanitarian ceasefire brokered by Egypt has gone into effect in the Gaza Strip as Israel announced the withdrawal of its troops to defensive positions.
The World Bank has said that it will provide up to $200 million in emergency assistance to Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone to help the West African nations contain the deadly outbreak, which has killed 887 people since it began in March this year. Jim Yong Kim, the World Bank president, himself an expert on infectious diseases, said he had been monitoring the spread of the virus and was deeply saddened at how it was contributing to the breakdown of already weak health systems in the three countries. The World Bank said the funding will help provide medical supplies, pay healthcare staff, and take care of other priorities to contain the epidemic and try to prevent future outbreaks. The announcement came as health centers in Liberia's capital city of Monrovia shut down because medical personnel became too afraid to turn up to work. Both Liberia's and Sierra Leone's top Ebola doctors lost their lives to the disease after caring for numerous people. And a 72-hour humanitarian ceasefire brokered by Egypt has gone into effect in the Gaza Strip and Israel. The start of the truce early today was preceded by a barrage of rockets from Gaza, with air raid sirens sounding throughout southern Israel, including the cities of Ashdod, Ashkelon and Beersheba, as well as around Jerusalem. Reports say Israel immediately launched airstrikes on Gaza City and on southern and central parts of the Palestinian territory. As well as brokering the truce, the Egyptian government invited Israel and the Palestinians to attend indirect talks in Cairo aimed at securing a permanent end to violence that has killed 1,865 Palestinians as well as dozens of Israeli soldiers.
Now, the latest in sports is Man United's win over Liverpool last night, a match that was being looked at as probably whether it will a decider for, to show whether Liverpool will be able to challenge for the Premier League title next season, which they came close. Now, over to Studio B, where our sports experts Ismail Dakawachigongo and David Rumansi plus Ann Darren, you've all welcome, guys. So, Ismail, do you think but first of all, first update us on the Cranes' chances ahead after beating Mauritania yesterday. I didn't hit that quite well.
The chances should be very good. They're going to a very tough Group E that includes 3 trips to West Africa, where they play Ghana, Togo and Guinea-Conakry. For me, the only thing I looked out for in this is that all these fixtures, which are 6 in all, are spread over a tiny period of just 2 months, starting next month, that is around September the 15th. When the Uganda Cranes play their first fixture away from home in Ghana. Normally, Malcolm, you'd remember that most of the fixtures we play in the opening ties of the qualifiers at Nambole. On this one occasion, the Cranes have to travel to Ghana. After that, then they have a big fight on their hands, needing to win their second game here. Okay, so what are our chances against the sleek-looking Ghana? It depends, I think, on the mindset that the Ghanaians will have. Over the past few years, they've had a lot of problems with their team. Jana Samo was on a sit-down strike, or Suleiman Tario, Kevin Prince Boateng, Andrayu, who normally retires from the team after the World Cup. I think it will entirely depend on what kind of mindset the Ghanaians will have. But in Africa, there isn't a huge margin between these teams, Malcolm, if you remember. We've beaten Nigeria here. We've been very competitive against Ghana before, drew 1-1. We beat the old DR Congo here by a goal. Let's wait and see how it would look like. This crossing the borders, do you think Man United beating Liverpool should actually, give Louis van Gaal all the comforts he wants? He shouldn't buy players, you think? I think it should be it shouldn't be comfortable, and it's said repeatedly that they need to sign a few defenders before the season starts. But to go into the pre-season and win 5 out of 5, it's got to be a lot of satisfaction for Louis van Gaal. And I've said that I think United have had a better pre-season than they had last year under David Moyes. They didn't win this number of games. To beat Liverpool, that wasn't a friendly. Games between Manchester United and Liverpool are real games. And United will take that scoreline of 3-1 and look forward to the season with a very optimistic view as Van Gaal tries to revive the team from having finished 7th last season. It was a battle. Thank you very much, Ismail Dakachugo. So we'll cross over for more updates, fixtures, and whatever is happening in the world of sports. Thank you for watching NTV at 1 and stay tuned to NTV.